It's 11 o'clock in the morning local time. Who's ready for some FCS quarterfinal football? South Dakota State won the toss deferred, so the Jackrabbits set to kick it away in blue. Incarnate Word ready to receive in white. They let it go for a touchback, and we get our first look at Zach Calzada in this Cardinals offense. Rocky, talk about Calzada, a proven passing quarterback, but they've been using him in the run game a lot more.
Yeah, and that's the thing, especially this time of year. Look, it's win or go home, right? So you take your 6'4", and look, he's listed at 200. Coach told us he's actually about 238. So that is a big boy. They want to get involved in this run game.
Under Armour All-American coming out of high school. Won the job at Texas A&M, beat Nick Saban in Alabama, and now trying to win against the back-to-back FCS national champions on the road. Passes caught on first down. Positive yardage is the key for this Cardinals offense. They gained 7 there to start the drive.
What they do is you see it. They spread the field out. They go use all 53 yards of width on this field, and they get athletic playmakers in space, and they got a couple great ones at the wide receiver position. Jalen Waltall, we'll get into, is one of the top receivers in the FCS.
Empty set, Calzada runs it right up the middle for the first down. Lowering that shoulder just short of the 40. Matthew Durant's made the tackle in the secondary.
So most of the season he was averaging about 4 rushes per game. The last 2 games he's had 25 runs. They want to use his legs.
He gets rid of the ball very quickly, does so there, and finds the top target, Jalen Waltall, who leads this Cardinals offense with 14 touchdowns on the season.
Jalen Waltall is a superior athlete. Long arms, quick. He's got that explosiveness in his legs to go up and get the ball. He's a guy they have got to target 15 plus times, 20 times in this game here today. He's that kind of playmaker.
Running it for the first time out of the backfield, Lontrell Turner, wrapped up by Graham Spalding. And this is what this Jackrabbits defense is built on. Swarm tackling. You're going to see blue shirts get to the football when Incarnate Word decides to run.
Yeah, and it's their defensive line. They roll about 8 or 9 deep and just keep rotating those big, fresh bodies out there. Done a great job all season.
This is the chess match. High-powered Incarnate Word offense going against the best FCS defense. Critical 3rd and 3 on the opening drive. Bunch formation, 4 wide receivers to the near side. Calzada goes to the far side on a slant route, and that pass is dropped incomplete. Roy Alexander could not hold on.
UIW was trying to get all those blue jerseys over to the boundary. They put 4 wide receivers to the boundary and tried to get that one-on-one matchup with Roy Alexander. But just a great job on the back end. Dallas Beanham is one of the best cornerbacks in the FCS. Did a great job breaking up that 3rd down.
Ryan Schamberger out to punch it away for the Cardinals. He's missed the last 4 games with a hamstring injury. Looks good on the first punt of the afternoon. Jackrabbits will start inside their own 20. Here comes Mark Gronowski of the Jackrabbits offense. He is a living legend here in Brookings. That's what will happen when you win 2 national championships. All he's done is win. Yep, he's actually never started and finished a playoff game where they've lost. The only game that they've lost, he went out with a torn knee in the first drive of the game.
And for him, Jay, it's all about experience. He started as a freshman here in 2020, and he's putting all that experience to good use.
Showed you before kickoff, but 30-0 here in Brookings. It's a remarkable career, and people around town will tell you the statue's going to be built. He just wants to have it say 3-time national champion instead of 2.
That's why he came back. And I think early this year, if you watched Gronowski, I think he was pressing a little bit. He turned the ball over a little bit more than he would have liked to. But I think especially recently, he has really calmed down, settled down within this offense, not trying to do too much, and it has really been on fire.
He's got Amar Johnson behind him, a cut for the first down. So shifty out of the backfield, a gain of 9 for Amar Johnson.
And I think this is what South Dakota State wants to do. They want to bring this team from they want to bring this team up here and up in the north here and get them out on here and bring long drives, right? See how much they like playing out in the cold. And this run game has always been clicking. 242 rush yards per game for the Jacks.
And Johnson now over 3,000 career rushing yards. He's in motion. Play action. Gronowski checks it down to Johnson. That throw was behind him and lands out of bounds. A rare miscue for Mark Gronowski.
This Jackrabbit offense, on their offensive line, they average 6'4", 305 pounds. Now this Incarnate Word defense is smaller but faster, so they want to try to use this size and try to keep pounding away at this front for UIW.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion. They run it with Johnson. Big hole opens up. Tackle just shy of the first down. Gain of 9 will set up a 3rd and 1.
Yeah, great job here. Evan Bernstein with a great block. He's one of their best offensive linemen, the right guard, wheeling around, kicking out. And Amar Johnson, big legs, nice loose hips. He runs hard downhill.
Third and 1, you'd expect the Jackrabbits to keep it on the ground. They did with Kirby Voorhees. His first carry, Darius Sanders makes the tackle, but not before Voorhees can move the chains on a gain of 5.
And it looks like South Dakota State is content to just run this ball up the middle until you stop it, right? We're going to keep you out in this cold, long drives. This is what this team does. They really play well in the elements.
We spoke with head coach Jimmy Rogers yesterday. What's been the success of these back-to-back national champions each of the last 2 seasons? And he said, you got to run the ball and stop the run. This is a free play. Gronowski throws it deep. They knew that UIW jumped, so might as well take a shot.
Offside. Defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty. First down.
See, you just pull them off sides, try to get the free play.
And you see on that replay, Chase Mason, who's the backup quarterback, actually took the snap. He'll stay in for this 1st and 5. And Mason has not played in the last 5 weeks for South Dakota State. Runs it here, picks up the first down, then lost the football. Incarnate Word has it. So Mason may be a little rusty. We just said he missed 5 weeks. Still trying to get up to full speed, and he coughs it up after picking up the first down. Declan Williams recovers it for the Cardinals.
That is a huge play there for Incarnate Word here. They need to get their offense back on the field. Chase Mason, as you mentioned, Jay, hasn't been around in a while. Got to hold on to this ball in this cold weather. Cardinals will get it when we come back next.
Opening drive, South Dakota State moving the football well. Chase Mason, who's the Swiss Army knife, loses it after they picked up a first down. Rocky Boyman, Jay Alderithia, and Rocky playing in this cold weather. You said before the game, we were down on the field, that ball becomes slippery.
Yeah, that's always been my experience, is when it's cold, the ball, for whatever reason, gets like a film on it. Especially wide receivers will tell you that. They'd rather play in the wet than the cold because of that slipperiness of the thing. Ball security huge here today.
Calzada trying to capitalize after the turnover on the run. Turning nothing into positive yardage. That is what Zach Calzada does so effectively. Extends the play. Veteran quarterback.
He does, but I like the idea right there. Incarnate Word was trying to go for the kill shot, and I think that's what they need to do here today, Jay, is try to turn this game into a track meet. You do not want to go and be on the field all day and try to slug out 10, 12, 14 play drives. You want to put that ball up top and put the pressure on the Jacks today.
2nd and 4, quick hitter. Caught by Lorick. He's bounced immediately out of bounds. Maybe a gain of 1. Still a 3rd and manageable for this Cardinals offense.
That's what you'll see a lot. Just a lot of bubble screens, shoot the ball out to athletes in space. That's the best way I can describe this offense. Try to get athletes in space and get them the football and let them make some moves. But here they are on a third and short.
That's easier said than done in 10 degrees. We saw the ball a little slippery because of the film due to the cold conditions here at Brookings. Zach Calzada trying to convert a 3rd and 3. Jackrabbits send 4. He slings it quickly. Only got 2. Needed 3. Roy Alexander hangs on, but he's short of the sticks. And from the 38-yard line, even though it's 4th and 1, you probably have to punt this ball away, right?
I think you do. And I think if this ball is closer to midfield, I would go for it. Again, I think they got to be aggressive today, but just this area of the field, about the 38-yard line, just makes it tough. I mean, and they complete this ball. He is well short of the sticks. You got to get that route up past the first down marker, and you can see Calzada knows it.
So after forcing the fumble, they can't convert. No fair catch called for. A good special teams play by UIW. So even though they get a 3 and out after the fumble, playing the field position game, Jackrabbits have the ball when we come back. Back-to-back FCS national champions, Mark Gronowski at South Dakota State, trying to make it a three-peat. They need 3 wins to do it. Right up the middle. Voorhees, Devin Grant got it the way. Only a gain of 3.
And this has been just pretty much all interior runs for the Jackrabbits here. They want to try to get that defense condensed down, get the Cardinals to bring that 8th guy in the box, and then they'll start slinging it and getting the ball outside.
Amar Johnson back into the backfield. He's got 3 carries for 24 yards. Really set the tone on the opening drive before the Chase Mason fumble. Gronowski, miscommunication there. And a rare error in the passing game. Declan Williams got a hand to it.
Yeah, this South Dakota State passing game has really been clicking of late. You credit the offensive line gelling. You credit Mark Gronowski again settling in and not trying to do too much.
6 games without throwing an interception for him. I mean, an incompletion is a rarity. Gronowski's that accurate. Coming off a game where he was 75%. Scrambling on a 3rd and 7. Gronowski flush right, trying to pick up the first down with his feet, and he does. A gain of 8 on 3rd and 7 to keep the drive alive.
And that's what he does. He's so good in the pocket, but he has the speed and the size to get outside. Look at that, running away from 2 white jerseys. Nice and easy picking up the first down. That's exactly the style of football that Jimmy Rogers likes.
That loss at North Dakota State in the Dakota marker game in Fargo, turning point, Jimmy Rogers said, for Gronowski in this offense. Came in that Sunday, the night after they lost to North Dakota State, took ownership for the loss, and from that moment on, he's really been his best self. And off Amar Johnson. That pile getting pushed for a first down. That offensive line making it happen for Amar Johnson. A gain of 12.
I mean, watch the line of scrimmage just move here. You see the blue jerseys, you see the white jerseys, and then they're pushing the white jerseys out of the screen. Right, getting up to that second level. I mean, this is exactly the style of game the Jacks won here. That was great. South Dakota State, they are putting linemen into the NFL.
Yeah, they lost 3 starters off last year's national championship team from the offensive line, but they just reload. And for a defense going against this group, Maryland, it's awfully difficult.
This D-line set the tone today when they came out for warm-ups. Declan Williams was among the defensive linemen who came out in sleeveless T-shirt to get ready for this game. Defensive coordinator Jim Gush told us that the way this defense has to be able to continue its standard of recovering fumbles is ignore this cold, play as if it's not real, let it go numb, and then lock back in. They have.
Well, that's exactly right, Maryland. This is not a defense that's going to just limit a team to a very few yards, but the takeaways is their key.
Amar Johnson has had a lot of success in this opening quarter, gain of 10 there. This is the shirtless pregame that Maryland was alluding to. I get you want to be a tough guy, football, playoffs. It's 10 degrees in Brookings, South Dakota. Yeah. People, put a shirt on.
It's mind over matter. A lot of it is mental, but at the end of the day, look, Jim Gush he's a little bit more bundled up. He's been around football a long time. He's saying, I'm not trying to be tough. I want to be comfortable.
What's the coldest game you played in?
Played in a game in Arrowhead when I was with the Chiefs against the Dolphins. It was 2 degrees, and that, my friend, was cold.
Play action. Gronowski dialing up a deep shot to the end zone. It's caught! Touchdown, South Dakota State. Griffin Wilde. What a grab in the end zone to open the scoring.
And Jay, this has been one of the most electric connections in college football the last few weeks. Gronowski to Wilde, and it's a corner route. And Gronowski knows that Wilde is going to run a great route. Last week, 7 receptions for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns, and here they are early in this game with a huge connection. Again, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, and then take shots downfield. Beautiful.
Seven-play, 76-yard drive to open the scoring. The 3-seeded Jackrabbits, 7-0 in the first quarter. Rocky Boyman, Jay Alter with you. FCS quarterfinal here in Brookings, South Dakota, the home to the back-to-back national champions here at the FCS level. 28
straight home wins here, right, Jay?
That is correct. They have not lost a game here since October 2021. Wow. Here for another quarterfinal. FCS playoff starts at 24. They're down to 8 teams now. FBS, first ever 12-team playoff kicking off in 6 days. As playoff football is here in December. Zach Calzada, he knows what it's like to play at the FBS level. He was a 3-star recruit, played in the Under Armour All-American game. A starter at Texas A&M where he beat Alabama, and then goes to Auburn, dealt with an injury, and had to reinvent himself, decided to go to this high-tempo offense with Clint Killough, and he has found a home. 38 touchdowns on the season, leads all FCS quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's been a long and winding road, but I think this is the style of offense that Calzada thrives in. It's a fun offense. You get to throw the ball around the parking lot. He's really been phenomenal at it here this year.
UIW has had opportunities in this opening quarter.
And that's the guy right there they need to get the ball to. Jalen Waltall. He's got the first reception of the game and nothing since.
Now they throw it to Roy Alexander, who picks up the first down. Tucker Large makes the tackle for South Dakota State.
You win football games by getting the ball in the hands of your best player as many times as possible. It's not that difficult. Let's get Waltall involved here.
Calzada looking his way, throws, and it's caught. Roy Alexander, back-to-back grabs for him. It's really a 1-2 punch of Waltall and Alexander. Those two have a combined 26 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah, and Alexander really shines when a lot of the attention, of course, goes to Jalen Waltall. He quietly has had over 1,000-yard season in 12 touchdowns.
They are into South Dakota State territory. Not for long, a loss of 2 there. Tucker Large storming in. What a talented player Tucker Large has been for the South Dakota State secondary.
Getting Tucker Large back, that's been the catalyst for this secondary, how this entire defense is playing. And that's what you have to do today against this style of offense. They get the ball to players in space. You got to tackle well in space. And number 1 came downhill. He didn't hesitate and laid the boom down.
The junior from Sioux Falls had a broken fibula, came back in 6 weeks. Hole opens up, running right through it, Lontrell Turner.
Wow, that was a good job here. Great block there by Rasheed Jackson, the left tackle. And I think they were planning on going for it on 4th down, but they pick it up the first with that run.
Longest play of the day. Tempo is picked up. Calzada off his back foot, checks it down to Turner. He picks up another first down for the Cardinals. So 3 plays in a row. This is the up-tempo offense we expected from UIW.
Got a player down here, and it's Lontrell Turner who had the reception, and he is a converted wide receiver, Jay. He was the starting X-wide receiver in the spring. They had some shortages at running back, so that's where he goes. He gets a little twisted up on that play.
And they're without their starting running back, Dakota Taylor. He's missed the last 3 games now, participated in practice this week, but it's a hand injury, and with this cold weather, that's
right.
not a good combination.
Yeah, you don't want to go out there with a big brace on your hand trying to hold the ball here.
Good to see Turner pop up there, but clearly limping off. And they don't have a lot of depth at the running back position.
Yeah, just thing got twisted up there on that tackle.
Lontrell Turner just hopped his way off the sideline onto the bench. He was already receiving some attention from the medical staff here on the Incarnate Word sideline earlier in this game. No weight at all on his right lower limb, and he's leaning heavily against support staff now as they tend to him. I'll give you more as I have it here.
So it's the 3rd string running back, Timothy Carter, into the backfield. Calzada throwing. Pass is caught. Logan Compton, the tight end. Gain of 4. As UIW inching closer to the red zone. This is by far their best drive of the opening quarter.
And what they're doing is what they do best, right? Spread the field out, catch the defense in zone, and just find open guys.
Carter's first run into a blue wall. Kobe Claiborne the first to it.
And I think for South Dakota State, they're a defense that's what they kind of major in, is playing great zone defense. Against this bunch, I don't think you can live in zone all day. You got to play some man-to-man and challenge these great wide receivers.
3rd and 4. Zach Calzada, the quarterback, has 7 straight completions. He has found his form on this drive. Can he keep it going? Calzada trying to take off under pressure. Breaks a tackle, picks up the first down. Wow. The hard-running Zach Calzada doing everything he can on this drive. He'll let you know it, too. First down.
And South Dakota State had the perfect thing drawn up. They blitz 2 linebackers on the inside to stop the interior run. But again, Zach Calzada, he's listed at 200. He is 238, and he showed it on that play.
He can sling it, too. Decides to take off and run. Falling forward, Adam Bach makes the tackle, the talented linebacker for South Dakota State.
See, but that's the cat and mouse game that I love about football is, okay, now South Dakota State, we got to challenge the receivers. We got to go man-to-man. When you go man-to-man, now your eyes are not on the quarterback, and he can pick up those rush yards.
Jesse Bobbitt, South Dakota State defensive coordinator, trying to come up with a stop in the red zone. 2nd and 8. You don't have to snap this ball if you're UIW.
Yeah, they're gonna hold it.
And they'll pick things up in the 2nd quarter. Inside the red zone, putting together an impressive drive on the road. They've already had 10 plays in it. Can they punch it in to tie this game at 7? We'll find out in the 2nd quarter.
Coach, what's the game plan to get in the end zone here to tie this?
Yeah, we got to execute. We got to come off the football and be physical. We stalled out on the first 2 drives. Just got to do our jobs and execute and be where our feet are.
What would it mean to tie this game here?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of football left. This will be a huge drive. Anytime we can put points on the board, it'll be critical.
How do you keep handling this condition, circumstance, the cold, the wetness?
Yeah, mind over matter. We're already past that. We're playing football right now, and that doesn't affect us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maryland Payne braving the elements as well. Started the 2nd quarter in the red zone. UIW trying to punch it in. Walt Hall, that's his 2nd reception of the day. Trying to get him more involved on this drive. Gain of 4.
That's it. And any wide receiver, Jay, will tell you, look, you kind of got to get in the flow, right? Joe Montana always talked about, hey, we got to get the ball to Jerry Rice in the first series of the game to kind of get him limbered up and ready to go. Same thing for Jalen Waltall. This is the 12th play of this drive. Carr's given South Dakota State a little taste of their own medicine with this long drive.
3rd and 4 from the 10. Calzada not going to get there. Stopped short. He's been very effective moving the chains in the run game. They have 5 first downs on this drive, but couldn't move the sticks there. What do you do here?
I go for it here. I think you got to turn this game into a track meet. You got to score a lot of points. So I think this is an area of the field that's worth taking a risk here. Again, especially at the kicking game in this cold weather, especially if you're from a team down south. I wouldn't have a lot of trust in it. Let's go for it here and try to pick up the first down.
The Jackrabbits' red zone defense has been outstanding this season. Can they get a stop here on a 4th and 2? Calzada trying to pick it up with his feet, barreling into a sea of blue jerseys. Not going to get there. Stuffed. Turnover on downs.
Well, you said it, Jay, a wall of blue. And you see the stalwart linebacker, Adam Bach. You see Dallas Beanham coming downhill. Reed, explode. A huge stop here. Jackrabbits get the ball when we come back.
The UIW still scoreless at Brookings. A 13-play drive goes 67 yards, and they stall out. Go for it on 4th down, don't get it, so they come up empty. Zach Calzada in this offense moved the ball really effectively there. They got nothing to show for it.
And I still agree with the decision to go for it there. I would have liked a different play. You know, they put the tight end in the backfield, so you're telling the whole world, here comes quarterback power. I would have spread the field and gone with a quarterback draw. That's been their most successful quarterback run today.
Lamar Johnson evading tacklers, but only a gain of 3.
For UIW, even though you don't get the points, you hope to keep South Dakota State pinned back here.
Chase Mason in the huddle again for the Jackrabbits. Their Swiss Army knife backup quarterback who has missed the last 5 weeks with an injury, back for this quarterfinals game today. Gets the snap, runs it right up the middle, picks up the first down and holds on to the football. Remember the last time he ran it in the first quarter, he fumbled it after he picked up the first down.
Jay, everyone around this program will tell you Chase Mason is the most athletic guy on this football team. The fastest, the most athletic, and that's why they want to get involved. Remember, he's dealing with that foot injury. Looked as he jogged off the field, it was a little hobbly on that thing as he goes to the sideline.
The coaching staff told us he's not 100%, but for playoff football, he's good enough to give it a go. He started at Nebraska as a college baseball player. You mentioned the athleticism. They just want to work him onto the field. What's unique is it's not a package where Gronowski runs off the field and Mason comes on. Those two are on the field together.
And Gronowski still calls the cadence. He does the cadence, still does the clap. The ball just happens to go to Chase Mason, which is, I like that. Keep everything as simple as possible. It's been really worked out for him this year.
As a linebacker, did you ever have to go against 2 quarterbacks on the field at the same time?
Yeah, but usually, you know, the one quarterback will go out wide and they bring in the running quarterback, so you kind of know what's coming. This is more of a dual threat situation with both those guys.
They keep it on the ground with Lamar Johnson. Picks up another Jackrabbits first down.
And you got to love this Jackrabbit offense. They're going to put a bunch of offensive linemen, about 87 tight ends on the field, and say it's mid-December football, and we're going to pound it out. That is what's happening right now.
Now, this is a tight end and offensive line factory to the NFL. You think about Dallas Goedert and Tucker Large, 2 terrific tight ends. Mason McCormick, who's probably going to be a Pro Bowler on the offensive line. And talking with NFL scouts earlier in the year when we had the Dakota marker game, they know, hey, if you need offensive line, and every NFL team does, you want to go to South Dakota State for it. Wow. And they might be sending a quarterback to the next level. Mark Gronowski right on the money to Lofton Ogroski, the freshman, gain of 31.
Yeah, and Lofton Ogroski, he's a guy that they said, look, we had no choice but to pull his red shirt, not because they had to have him, but they had to have him on the field. He's been that dynamic. in camp and all throughout the season, we said, look, we can't risk it. We need a dynamic player in this passing game, and Gronowski has been that guy. Been consistent. He's a good blocker, Coach talks about. Always count on him to come up with that football.
Jackrabbit fans will remember the Yankee brothers. Offensive coordinator Ryan Olson joked that Gronowski looks like a third Yankee brother. Taking a shot again. Touchdown, South Dakota State. Griffin Wilde, his second touchdown. 35-yard strike. The Gronowski and Wilde connection continues to show up for South Dakota State.
And Jay, did I say Gronowski and Wilde were on a tear of late? Absolutely. It continues here today. There's Ryan Olson, the offensive coordinator, said, yep, that's exactly how you draw it up. You run the ball. Again, you put the extra tight ends in here. You force the defense to stack the box, and then you get the one-on-one matchups down the field. God, I love it.
The Jacks go 92 yards in just 6 plays, capped off by another 35-yard touchdown.
It's all set up by the play action. Then Wilde, who's just a sneaky good athlete. He always finds a way to get behind the defense. He does there. Ryan Olson loves it. 14-0 Jacks.
You know this playoff system well. They're now up to 24 teams in the playoff, and here we are in the quarterfinals, down to 8. At South Dakota State, they're dialed in on all 3 phases. Good special teams play there after a 92-yard touchdown drive. We're talking about the FCS playoffs. The FCS championship coverage continues next weekend. Semifinal games. It's a doubleheader on ABC. Kicks off noon Eastern time and then 3:30. For more information, visit NCAA.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships.
And I think for Zach Caldata here, look, don't do anything different. I love the combination of spreading the field in the short pass game, followed up by the QB runs. Keep it going.
13-play drive that resulted in no points, stalled out on the 8-yard line. Montrell Turner met by Caleb Francel. Gain of 4.
I do think UIW needs to take a shot here at some point here. Test this defense.
Calzada right on cue, slinging it, and it's intercepted. With room to run, Matthew Durant's blockers in front of him. He finally goes out at the 15-yard line, and it is all Jackrabbits here in Brookings. He had the long touchdown drive, good special teams play, and then an interception by Matthew Durant.
And he just did not see Matthew Durant, who was the middle of the field safety, rotating over that way to the middle of the field. And it's a mistake he wishes he had back. You see him on that half of the field. They're going to rotate, give a cover 2 look, and then he's going to rotate to a single high look. And just a great job defensively of disguising your coverage. You got to give that quarterback one picture and then change the picture. That's how you get those big plays there.
And it sets Mark Gronowski of this Jackrabbits offense in perfect position. They start in the red zone at the 15-yard line. Run it right up the middle with the freshman Maxwell Woods. That's his first carry. Woods originally committed to North Dakota State and then flipped his commitment to South Dakota State. Very talented freshman that this coaching staff's excited about.
Yeah, I think he's pretty similar to Amar Johnson, their main running back. I think Woods might be a little bit faster, but he's been a dynamic freshman. It's been key this year.
If South Dakota State can punch it in here, I think Jackrabbits fans would start thinking about North Dakota State and that potential semifinal rematch next week. And there's a lot of football left, but
Offside. Defense, number 0. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Declan Williams jumped for UIW. It just feels like South Dakota State piled all the momentum on their side in this second quarter. Started with that turnover on downs at the 8-yard line. The red zone defense comes up clutch. Then a long 92-yard touchdown drive. And the interception, which has now set them up.
Yeah, and I don't know if we've mentioned it. This is the #1 scoring defense in the FCS. They're only giving up 12.8 points per game. Combine that with a high-octane offense, very dangerous.
Gronowski running it himself to the 5-yard line. Picks up the first down. So it'll be 1st and goal from the 5. Jackrabbits continue to just pound this football.
I mentioned earlier, Jay, it's just offensive linemen and tight ends out there. Here comes 2 more on the field. Davin Stoffel, Kevin Brenner at tight end. You know, it's fun to, you know, throw the ball around the park when it's early in the season. It's warm out here. But when you know you're going to be in this situation, cold weather games, it's about running the football and being physical. That's why they run this style, and it works to perfection.
Amar Johnson can't quite scoot into the end zone there. Gains the 2.
And just the size difference between the South Dakota State offensive line and the Incarnate Word defensive line. Really only one 300-pounder on that defensive line. A lot of athleticism, a lot of good athletes on that D-line, just not a ton of size.
Yeah, the one thing this defense has done this season is take the ball away. 30 takeaways. Now would be a good time. Backed up to the 3-yard line. Right back to Johnson. He's upended. Dune Smith made the stop. Sets up a 3rd and goal. This Cardinals defense bowing up here.
And they're loading that box up. They're selling out, trying to stop that interior run. Imagine there's some sort of play-action pass coming here, getting Gronowski rolled out, give him a run-pass option.
Well, what's funny about Gronowski, he's only completed 3 passes this entire first half, and they've all been 30 yards or more. The 2 35-yard touchdowns and then a 31-yard completion. So he's done nothing short yardage today.
Hey, when you can get the deep yardage, you leave the short yardage passes for later. He's been great.
And Jimmy Rogers takes a timeout. Play clock was winding down. Wanted to talk over this 3rd and goal, trying to go up 3 scores here midway through the 2nd quarter. The bowl season is here. It kicks off with the IS4S Alute to Veterans Bowl. South Alabama and Western Michigan tonight, 9 Eastern on ESPN at the historic Crampton Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama.
Kicking off bowl season. This is fun stuff.
Capital One Bowl Mania begins tonight on ESPN. It's really like a month long now, bowl season with the expanded playoff going all the way to January 20th. First year of this 12-team playoff at the FBS level, just 6 days away from it, but bowl season begins today. We got FCS quarterfinals today here in South Dakota, where the Jackrabbits have a 3rd and goal, trying to extend this 14-0 lead. Gronowski calls his own number into the end zone. Touchdown, Jackrabbits. So Mark Gronowski in this South Dakota State offense cashes in on the Matthew Durant's interception, which put the ball at the 15-yard line.
And a great block from Amar Johnson, the running back. You'll see him up in the hole. Boom, there's the linebacker. And that's why this team wins, Jay. They play great complementary football, great team football. Got the running back throwing a great block for the quarterback there for the touchdown.
And that makes it 21-0 South Dakota State in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and South Dakota State, they get the big interception. Middle of the field, Matthew Durant, he runs it on down and then just run the ball. Mark Gronowski punches it in. All Jacks here in Brookings. It's late in the playoffs. It's cold out there. And they practice it all year here. They've just been an absolute machine the last 2 years.
Monte Davis on the return. Upended just past the 20. Let's check in down on the sidelines with Maryland.
Matthew Durant's never sat down after his interception. He ran along the sidelines from bench to bench, hyping up his teammates, and then he stood at the very edge of the coach's box here at the 20-yard line and waited until his offense scored. He greeted Mark Gronowski as the QB came off the field following his TD, and he said, "That's it, baby, that's who we are." Gronowski and Durant both told me that the biggest difference between who this SDSU team is today and who beat Incarnate Word 2 months ago was that they are more together even across both sides of the ball, and I saw that here right now.
Oh, you're right, Marilyn. They've had some guys step up here. Both these units, offense and defense, have really gelled.
Now they have just taken this game over. Graham Spalding, the stop there. It started at the beginning of the second quarter with the defense getting a turnover on downs at the 8-yard line, and really from there the Jackrabbits have hit a different gear.
And in the secondary, specifically the safeties for South Dakota State, been banged up. All right, Cale Reeder's out for the season, Colby Herter out for the season, but Matthew Durant and especially Tucker Large have stepped up big time.
And Calzada, he's been most effective running the football. Stopped by Spalding again after a gain of 4. I just think confidence-wise, Rocky, when there was the turnover and downs in the red zone, this UIW offense just has not looked the same. Trying to move the chains on a 3rd and 3. That pass is dropped. Spalding got a piece of it. Monster defensive drive for Graham Spalding, the senior linebacker out of Florida.
Well, you're right, Jay. When that drive stalled earlier, you can see Clint Gillow, the head coach there, disappointed as well. Football is such a game of momentum, especially if you're a down south team. You're coming up here, you're playing in the cold. Okay, we got a good drive going, and then it stalls, and then you get the interception. Just takes all the wind out of your sails here. They got to find a way to somehow get some momentum back. The good news is defensively, they're really good at taking the ball away. That's precisely what they need right now.
A ball back to Mark Gronowski in this South Dakota State offense. How good is the 2-time national champion quarterback been today?
He was good coming into the season, and he just keeps getting better. I mean, today, just talk about the model of efficiency here and run the ball, and then when they ask him to throw it, okay, only 3 passes, but they go for over 100 yards and a couple touchdowns, and then he punches it in with his legs, and he's a guy that he's going to have a chance at the next level, Jay. I mean, because of the production you see, the fact he's on teams that win, and the experience. The NFL loves quarterbacks that have experience. He has a ton.
Intercepted there. A play action. Gronowski knew it when he threw it, wasn't happy with it. And Ronald Wilson, huge interception. Gives some life to UIW. Here we are heaping on praise on Gronowski, and he throws his first pick since the North Dakota State game 6 weeks ago.
That's what I was talking about. That's what they do, take the ball away. And it just looked like Gronowski was expecting the receiver to be over a little bit more, a little bit of some great pressure there by Josh Gonzalez. This is his first game back in a while. Gonzalez comes up with the pressure there, trying to go to Wilde. And no, look, if you're UIW, you got to take a shot here, right? You got to try to inject some momentum back in your football team.
Yeah, they get the ball at the Jackrabbits' 45-yard line. They have a great opportunity here. Calzada runs it right up the middle. When he gets going, he is difficult to bring down. Gain of 10 to move the chains. South Dakota State, a 3-touchdown lead to the Jackrabbits, looking for more. Back-to-back national champions, playing what could potentially be their final home game here in Brookings. 2 minutes left in this first half. Mark Gronowski, this Jackrabbits offense, in terrific position here to add to this lead. First and goal from the 10-yard line. Gronowski is now over 10,000 career passing yards. It would have been a legendary career here in Brookings. Hands it off. Amar Johnson tumbling forward to the 2-yard line. And Gronowski, think about all the winning he's done, how many games he's played for South Dakota State. He's now had 24 career games with a passing and rushing touchdown. So don't be surprised if he calls his own number here.
Again, the next level NFL, they love players that are used to winning. Players that win, they find ways to win as games go on.
He's never lost a playoff game where he's started and finished. So he's 12-1, but the one game they lost, he was out in the opening drive injured.
The NFL also likes guys that are used to playing in the postseason, used to long seasons that kind of go on and on. Jimmy Rogers has this program just absolutely rocking.
And what's amazing about Gronowski's career is South Dakota State was his only Division I offer. So this was an under-recruited, unheard of quarterback. And you see that 12-1 career FCS playoff record. The one game he lost, he tore his ACL on the first series of the game. He's never lost a game here in Brookings, 30-0.
And what you also got to love, Jay, right? Didn't he turn down $1 million reportedly to come back this year?
Pete Thamel reported before the season started that he had multiple 7-figure offers for NIL deals to play in the Big Ten, Power 4 football. Turned it all down to stay at South Dakota State. Jimmy Rogers told us yesterday, 7 figures, that's more than our entire operating budget.
Yeah. But what does that say about this South Dakota State program and Jimmy Rogers? Kids want to stay here to win, to be a part of a great team.
Johnson stuffed on the doorstep there. Mr. Williams, the linebacker, stuffed the hole. I agree with you, Rocky. This is kind of old school football. They're not playing for NIL deals. They're just playing to win football games, and that's exactly what they do.
It's kind of a unicorn anymore, right? In a day and age when things are kind of selfish and players are choosing to go here, and I get some of it, but it's just nice to see there's a program that's alive and well, that wins. Kids want to stay here and be about team. It's wonderful.
Rogers told us they had 8 players on this year's team turn down 6 figures or more. We told you Gronowski was a 7-figure offer. Tucker Large turned down $500,000. This is uncharacteristic for the current climate of college football.
It's just something that is there's less and less every single day, but they have built something special out here in Brookings.
And they have kept it rolling. They've kept their talent home, and a chance to go up by 4 touchdowns here right before halftime. A 3rd and goal. Gronowski, quarterback sneak, bulldozes into the end zone. Touchdown, South Dakota State. Kevin Brenner, the tight end, pushing Gronowski across the line for another Jackrabbit score.
Nothing fancy about that when we talked about the surge of this offensive line. QB sneak. Mark Gronowski knows what to do with it from there. Just packing the tight ends, the offensive line. You get Kevin Brenner, one of the tight ends, with the late tush push there, along with Amar Johnson.
So South Dakota State fans, even though there's a second half still to play, you go up 28-0, you start thinking about next Saturday maybe, noon Eastern on ABC. If North Dakota State can beat Mercer, that game's coming up at 3:30 on ABC. It would set up a Dakota marker rematch. We did the regular season meeting, 13-9 North Dakota State win. And if you're a Jackrabbits fan, you want another crack
what they want.
At the Bison.
I mean, literally from the time that game ended and they lost it, they were thinking about, hey, when's the rematch coming? And they're well on their way to getting it. By the way, that Mercer North Dakota State game, North Dakota State, of course, runs the ball very, very well. Mercer defensively allows an FCS low 67 rush yards per game. So there's the matchup to watch in that one.
And we showed you that FCS playoff bracket. The championship game is on Monday, January 6, 7 Eastern on ESPN in Frisco, Texas. You think about all the success that both South Dakota State and North Dakota State have had at the FCS level. They've played in 11 of the last 13 not just played, they've won 11 of the last 13 FCS championships. So the FCS playoffs usually will come down to South Dakota State or North Dakota State in recent history. I guess the wild card is Montana State. They played last night. They're already safely advanced to the semifinals.
Yeah, I mean, those three teams, certainly the front runners right now. Montana State looked phenomenal last night in that rematch against Idaho. But yeah, these two teams, a bitter rivalry. North Dakota State, South Dakota State fan bases are all juiced up for that potential matchup.
Zach Calzada and UIW with a mountain to climb. Shovel pass. Positive yardage to Timothy Carter there. One timeout, under 50 seconds remaining for the Cardinals here. It's a tall task to come into Brookings and beat South Dakota State. To do it down 4 touchdowns would be beyond Herculean. Calzada throws that ball over the head of Carter.
That's one thing South Dakota State has done well, is they've put a top on their defense. They're not letting anything get behind them, and that's what they do so well. Make you throw the ball in front, make you throw a 3, 4 yard, 5 yard pass, and then boom, they come up and tackle it and drop it on the spot.
UIW has had their opportunities in this first half, but they've struggled on 3rd down. Just 1 of 6. They have 2 turnover on downs that have cost them dearly. This time the pass is caught, but then the ball's out. Jalen Wathall had the first down. Tucker Large took it away for South Dakota State. The pride of Sioux Falls right up the road. Tucker Large coming up large. And this defense, you can't say enough good things about it.
And it looked like he just punched this ball out and then came up with it. Okay, looked like it was Stephen Arell that punches that thing out. Boom. Little Peanut Tillman punched that ball out, and then Tucker Large, Johnny on the spot. I mean, this is a team that is playing fantastic ball. The presence of mind in that position to right now to not just bring them to the ground, but boom, punch it out and get the big takeaway. Stephen Arell, excellent.
It has gone from bad to worse for UIW. Gronowski taking a shot to the end zone, put it up high. Lofton O'Grosky did not land in bounds. He did make the catch.
Yeah, get another one-on-one matchup here. South Dakota State has done fantastic here today. He's finding those one-on-one matchups. And Gronowski putting the ball on the money, even there out of bounds. Great spot.
Yeah,
for
I know
football.
that doesn't count, but
yeah.
if you're a Jackrabbits fan, the freshman Lofton O'Grosky,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
how
great. We
good
had
is
him for a
he
few
going to
years.
be?
Yeah.
Gronowski throws over the middle. It was a low throw, but O'Grosky went down and got it. Yeah, the Jackrabbits march inside the red zone. 17 seconds remaining. Gronowski saying, let's spike this football, which he does. 1 timeout remaining here.
Taking a look at this catch here. We saw him with the great catch on the sideline. It didn't count, but how about this one going loaded for the football over the middle? That's maybe even more impressive because you're going over the middle, you're expecting to possibly get hit, but then you pick that ball up before it hits the turf. That's great stuff. Excellent hands.
Gronowski throwing back to the end zone, sailed it over Kentrell Prejohn's head. That completion, by the way, by O'Grosky, that's the first completed pass under 30 yards for South Dakota State and Mark Gronowski today. He's been all about the deep ball. 11 seconds here. You do have the 1 timeout. You keep taking shots at the end zone.
I take a shot at the end zone here. Get ready for a field goal.
The first half of South Dakota State has dominated. Mark Gronowski looking for more. Just misses that throw. The tight end, Davin Stoffel, couldn't get there.
Must have found something they like. That's 3 times they tried that fade to that side of the field. Came up short here. Looks like they are going to attempt the field goal here.
They've got a reliable kicker in Hunter Dustman, who doubles as the punter and the field goal kicker for this Jackrabbits team. Jimmy Rogers joked with us yesterday that Dustman's gone through 24 popped balls kicking in the cold this week. That sails straight through from 36 yards out. And it's a 31-0 lead headed into halftime.
The cold just does not affect this team, right? They can throw in it, throw deep in it. They can get takeaways in it. They can kick field goals in it. And they love this weather. I love the fact, Jay, if you look on the sideline for South Dakota State, they don't have the benches with the heat pumping through it. They just got these old aluminum benches out there, like it's 1947 out there. We're going to look at that here in a second, but
and you're kicking, a frozen brick.
Yeah, that's a brick.
But Dustman, he's the veteran senior, been kicking in the cold for a long time. And Rocky, you mentioned, nothing fancy.
When we walked out on the field, right, Jay, I was like, which sideline is? Because I'm like, clearly the home team is going to have heated benches. Nope, not in Brookings. This is how we do it. Aluminum, cold, let's go.
They don't have them now, and they don't have them ever. Occasionally they will have heated huts. But over on Incarnate Word sideline, some of the gas in the tanks has frozen today, so they've got to deal with that as they try and overcome this deficit shutout first half, and the heated benches aren't even working for the visitors.
If you didn't think it could get worse for the Cardinals, frozen heaters and a 31-0 deficit. Well, when you have built a perennial powerhouse at the FCS level like South Dakota State, this is what it looks like. Quarterfinal and a 31-0 commanding lead for the Jackrabbits here at home. Back-to-back FCS champions, trying to make it 3 in a row. And they are well in control. The second half still to play. South Dakota State gets the ball. Squib kick to get it started. Mark Gronowski and this offense will take over just past the 30. Rocky Boyman, Jay Alter with you. Marilyn Payne down on the sideline. And Mark Gronowski at South Dakota State in total command and in control in that first half.
Yeah, I mean, it's just perfection with the game plan too, right? Run the ball, stack the box with a bunch of tight ends. And then when you get those one-on-one matchups down the field, you hit them, and Gronowski has not missed. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, it shows you why. Two-time national champion quarterback, got offers of 7 figures to leave to a Power 4 program, decided I want to come back and finish this thing at South Dakota State. And boy, they have poured it on. A 31-0 lead. Amar Johnson runs it right up the middle. Gain of 6. They're averaging more than 7 yards per carry. Let's check in with Maryland down on the sideline.
Jay, South Dakota State head coach Jimmy Rogers says Incarnate Word has had opportunities, and they are the type of team that can turn something around in a snap, so we have to continue to play as if we're not shutting them out right now. Offensively, he liked Gronowski's efficiency in the pass game, but he wants to see his offensive line establish things better up front so they can be even more effective on the ground in the second half.
Well, he's not wrong, Maryland. I mean, this is a quick strike offense for UIW. They can put up points on the board here, but I think South Dakota State is going to be content to just draw this game out and just keep pounding that football. And here's the deal is, I mean, UIW had so many opportunities. They had 2 takeaways, got 0 points off of them, and then conversely, South Dakota State gets 2 takeaways and they get 10 points off of it.
Those 2 turnover on downs, both inside the red zone, killers by UIW to come up with 0 points. Backbreakers in that first half at South Dakota State. Trying to pick up where they left off. Taking a deep shot. It's caught. David Alpers untouched into the end zone. 59-yard strike to start the second half.
South Dakota State play action pass. They got the tight end in the flat and then on the backside. Here comes Alpers.
5th touchdown of the afternoon for Mark Gronowski. 3 through the air, 2 on the ground. And there is nothing stopping the Jackrabbits in this quarterfinal matchup. Everybody's going to start looking ahead to a potential North Dakota State semifinal.
Mark Gronowski, no sleeves on out there. He loves this kind of weather. He loves this style of football. And when you run the ball, it opens up the play action. They hit the tight end, David Alpers. All Jacks here in Brookings.
You got to knock off the champs if you want to win it. They are well on their way to the semifinals. 38-0 lead here in Brookings. Just started the third quarter. Rocky Boyman, Jay Alter, Marilyn Payne with you. Jackrabbits picked up right where they left off. 59-yard passing touchdown by Mark Gronowski. That's his 3rd passing touchdown of the day. All 35 yards or more. And head coach Jimmy Rogers said, you know, cold weather, other quarterbacks usually get worse. Mark Gronowski, well, he plays better, and he attributes it to his big hands, great grip on that ball. Marilyn Payne, our sideline reporter, she brought out the ruler, 10.5 inches on those hands, and those big paws will help you throw the ball real well in these conditions.
And look, if you're sitting home saying, what do you guys talk about? This is a real stat that matters, especially when it comes to the NFL. A lot of those quarterbacks, Brett Favre famously had big hands. Aaron Rodgers, for a smaller guy, does. Russell Wilson, big hands. Dak Prescott, it's a real thing, especially in this cold weather, Jay. The ability to grab that football, as we talked about, it has that film on it. He's got some mitts on it.
Rocky, you just said it. It makes a big difference in this weather. Mark Gronowski knew exactly what that was about when I told him he could thank his head coach for the measurement. He said it does matter. It makes a difference. I got a good grip on the ball here.
Yeah, most offenses won't even attempt the deep ball like that, but they've got 3 passing touchdowns, all 35 yards or more. Jimmy Rogers has such confidence in Gronowski.
Yeah, and that hand size, too, it usually equates to ball security, too. Bigger hand. I mean, think about it. If you're having one of those tiny Nerf footballs at home, you can just grab that thing and flail all around with it. It ain't coming out of your hand here. Same thing for those quarterbacks and a guy like Mark Gronowski.
And even though there's no snow, that ball does get wet, that film around the ball. And Gronowski secured it extremely well. Calzada throwing on a 3rd and long, finds Mason Pierce over in the middle. Sets up a 4th and a long 1. You got nothing to lose here, down 38-0. Offense stays on the field.
Just a 3rd pass over 10 yards today for Calzada.
They run it for the 1st down. Timothy Carter, who's getting a lot more play time today than he's used to. The junior from Miami Gardens, Florida, with Lantrell Turner banged up in the first half and DeKalen Taylor unavailable. It's been a lot of Timothy Carter. Calzada off his back foot. That pass sails incomplete.
It's about the 3rd time they've missed on that little check down today. I mean, that's a gimme play. That has got to be 100% of the time. That ball's got to be completed.
Just feel like the Jackrabbits defense has drained UIW's offense of any confidence.
They really have. And the biggest thing, Jay, I think they've done is that they've taken away the deep shot that UIW wants. They've kept everything in front of them, just forced them to check down, and they haven't been able to be consistent with it.
Calzada, quick hitter to Mason Pierce. Tackled just shy of the 50, sets up a 3rd and 5.
I mean, even there, the amount of blue jerseys there around that play. And Marilyn, you have some more on this South Dakota State tackling out here.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a huge emphasis this week that these DBs in particular have better leverage angles so that not only can they make the first tackle, but the ball goes down on first, if not first, second contact immediately. The yards after catch for the Incarnate Word Cardinals in this last meeting was the biggest emphasis for the defense when they looked at what they needed to change today.
And speaking with defensive coordinator Jesse Bobbitt, he said the first 2 games of the season, they didn't tackle well at all, allowed 44 points and 24 points. Well, in the last 11 games, they haven't allowed near that number, and he said that is because we have tackled so much better.
And it's so important, as Maryland said, to stop that yards after catch. We'll come back here with more 38-0 Jacks here in Brookings.
Well, Gronowski and Wilde got the party started with those 2 35-yard passing touchdowns. I love that.
That's great.
The fan support has been tremendous.
Mr. and Mrs. Claus made it to the game.
Here in Brookings, a 38-0 lead. For UIW, Jalen Walthall, the leading receiver, he went down injured right before the break, popped up. Should be okay to continue. That pass is caught. Roy Alexander, who's been quiet as of late, gain of 8. And they need Alexander and Walthall because they have lacked that explosive threat in the passing game.
They really have, but there's Adam Bach again with his 8th tackle of the game. Those linebackers for the Jacks have been fantastic.
A broken tackle results in a first down for this Cardinals offense.
And see, this kind of goes back to the tackling again. When you shoot that ball out there in this style of offense, you shoot it out there a bubble screen for 3 yards. You don't want 3 yards out of it. You're hoping to catch it for 3 and turn it into 10 or turn it into 20. But the South Dakota State defense has just absolutely not allowed that today.
And Jalen Walthall back onto the field, which is good to see. He has the most receiving yards in a season in UIW history with 1,248. He needed 21 yards coming into the day, has 24. Calzada off his back foot again. He finds Gerald Wiley, his first catch of the afternoon. Turns it into a gain of 5.
Pressure by Bryce Hawthorne on that play. Getting in the quarterback's grill.
Calzada, play action. Pass is caught. Inside the red zone where UIW has been twice today, but it's resulted in 0 points. Injured Jackrabbit in the secondary. Caleb Francel.
Francel's been a fantastic linebacker for this team. I think probably their best blitzer off the edge. Not good to see him down. They're tending to the lower leg. There's Francel out, way out wide. They just kind of caught his left ankle up on that turf and twisted it up.
South Dakota State has been so good at the linebacker position. Francel, Adam Bach, and Graham Spalding, all 3 of those guys have been terrific for Jimmy Rogers' defense. He joked with us yesterday, when they offer a linebacker now, a high school linebacker, Power 4 teams will come in immediately because South Dakota State has done such a good job identifying
Isn't that amazing? They're like, hey, these guys really know what they're doing in identifying talent, specifically some linebacker talent. So instead of doing it ourselves, we'll just see who they recruit and then try to go after and steal them. What a world.
Adam Bach's 9 tackles now ties him second all-time in tackles for South Dakota State. Chase Van Tol comes in to fill in for Caleb Francel.
Jalen Walthall at the bottom of the screen here.
Calzada looking his way, throwing his way. Pass is caught inside the 10.
Excuse me, that was Roy Alexander. On that play, he's had a fantastic ball game today.
So Calzada, in this Incarnate Word offense, they've stalled out twice in the red zone. Can they punch it in here? That time, it's Walthall, swallowed up by Adam Bach, his 10th tackle of the afternoon. .32 in blue, a magnet to the football.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for him is he's healthy this year. Multiple times throughout his career, he's just been banged up, but fact that he's been able to stay healthy has really helped him have a tremendous season. He's a third-year captain. That doesn't happen often in college football. Just speaks to the tremendous player he is.
14th play on what has been a long UIW drive. Calzada trying to punch it in, diving inside the 5. That's Gerald Wiley. Ran right into Tucker Large. 3rd and goal. UIW trying to punch it in. Calzada play action, throws off his back foot. And the Cardinals finally on the board. Roy Alexander finishes an impressive 15-play drive. Finally, they can punch it in after 2 drives stalled out in the red zone, turnover on downs. Finally find the end zone here.
And that's what shows you what this offense can do. Nice long drive, picking up first downs, completing balls. Just, you're afraid it might be a little too late.
Well, at halftime, we kept telling each other, Rocky, UIW had their chances. Doesn't feel like a 31-0 game. This time they capitalize. They go 69 yards and 15 plays for their first score of the game. Random fandom here at South Dakota State. It's an incredible fan base. The elements, the cold weather in December doesn't deter these fans from coming out, and well, neither does surgery. Meet Josh Bartles, who on Monday was under the knife getting surgery on a significant hernia injury. 5 days later, he's in the stands rooting on his beloved Jackrabbits. Has to be happy. 38-7 lead for South Dakota State. You know, Josh was born and raised right here in Brookings, played college baseball for South Dakota State, avid supporter of the Jacks, and even surgery can't keep him away from playoff football.
And what you got to love, too, Jay, is we learned that, I mean, look, he has the ability to be in a box. He said, no, that's not how you watch a football game at South Dakota State. I want to be out in the elements. And there you see him again a couple of days after surgery.
So cool. We met him for breakfast at Cubby's in downtown Brookings. And that was the line that stuck out to me. He goes, you know, I'm fortunate, been an avid supporter of South Dakota State. They said, hey, why don't you, after the surgery, be in a box for this game? He goes, it doesn't count unless I'm in the stands, braving the elements. And I think that has to be against doctor orders here out in freezing conditions for more than 3 hours, but the winning will keep you warm.
I think that Mike's Hard Lemonade he just drank is probably against doctor's orders, too. But that's okay. Got to cheer on the Jacks.
And he's been a longtime supporter of South Dakota State well before the back-to-back national championships, and he credits Dana Dykhouse, who the stadium is named after, for helping turn this program into the dynasty they have become.
It is. Look, I mean,
is that the doctor on the phone saying, what are you doing?
Put that Hard Lemonade down, my friend.
That's great.
Yeah, we caught you.
That's the best. You know, we've been doing random fandom, Rocky and I, for the entire season this fall. It's been so much fun, and the phone lighting up is the tradition.
Yeah, because all their buddies are like, hey, you're on TV right now.
Hopefully that is not the doctor's office call.
But Jay, it's been a fantastic segment that you have spearheaded all year long. It's been a lot of fun learning about what is the lifeblood of this great sport we love, and that is the fan.
No doubt about it, and that's what I think separates college football from any other game is the fans. And whether you're at Alabama like we were a month ago, or Arkansas at the beginning of the season, or right here in Brookings, South Dakota. Up north in Fargo, you have Bison Bill, who's been to 550-something games that we did. And I'll tell you what, South Dakota State, as much as they were dialed in and focused for this quarterfinal, you could tell they want another crack at North Dakota State, and they are well on their way to getting it. The Bison play on ABC against Mercer, and if they win that game, it'll be a rematch of the Dakota Marker game, which North Dakota State won 13-9. Now, the fans are not happy with the no call there. Dune Smith collided with the tight end David Alpers over the middle.
Yeah, and these fans here think Dune Smith got there a little bit early on that screen here. Let's check it out. Dune Smith has been a fantastic player. There you see him coming in the middle. Got there.
I think what the officials are probably saying is that he got pushed into it.
Right. I think that's okay to let go.
Well, the officials have been consistent. They've let him play. Only 2 flags through 2.5 quarters here in Brookings. Low punt by Hunter Dustman. It bounces right into Mason Pierce. Can't spin out of the tackle. Now, 2 terrific quarterbacks that we told you about coming into the day. Mark Gronowski has been the dominant one.
Yeah, he's been great. I mean, everything is advertised. We talked about how this pass game is really clicking at the right time of the season, and it continues here today. And then you focus on the pass. You can't forget that Gronowski's one of the best running quarterbacks in the nation. And he's just the guy that does it all. He has the experience, he has the skills, he has the mentality, he has the leadership, which is why this team has been so successful here for a couple years.
And Zach Calzada, who's an Under Armour All-American coming out of high school, started his career at Texas A&M, where he beat Alabama in 2021. He's done a nice job moving the ball down the field. It wasn't until that final drive where they hit pay dirt and scored a touchdown.
Yeah, and a couple of 4th downs that they went for, 4th and shorts that they weren't able to get, were just really the difference. And I agreed with the decision. It just didn't work out for him.
And Calzada has not been able to keep pace with Gronowski's 5-touchdown day, 3 passing, 2 rushing, and there's an injured Jackrabbit. Aaron Wolfkalf Holston, the junior from Gilbert, Arizona, getting help to his feet. I do wonder, Rocky, you don't want to take your foot off the gas. It is a quarterfinal game, but you lead by 31.
Yeah,
think about, let's keep these guys healthy and start rotating in.
Yeah, again, it's always something you got to be careful with. I think if they are able to hold here, I think that's certainly something we'll see here as it gets down closer to the end of this quarter.
Maybe if you get a stop here.
Yeah.
The Jimmy Rogers team well on their way to another semifinal, trying to make it 3 straight FCS championships. The pass is complete on 1st down for a gain of 7 to the tight end Logan Compton.
And at this stage of the game, what South Dakota State, what they're communicating to each other is, again, like we've been doing all day, nothing behind us. Keep everything in front of us. Make them drive the length of the field here.
Calzada taking a shot, and he had Compton, but Tucker Large delivered a big hit in the secondary to break it up.
Yeah, they had Compton down the seam there, had an opportunity. Tucker Large, as we've been talking about all day, he has been a huge difference maker as he's gotten back to being healthy just at the last second, popping that ball away.
Broke his fibula earlier in the season, only missed 6 weeks. I don't know how you break a bone and come back.
Yeah.
But Tucker Large has done it. 3rd and 3. Calzada in trouble, escaping the pressure. Trying to find that edge. Stiff arms. Stays in bounds for the 1st down and more. Adam Bach, rare missed tackle from him. One of the best to ever do it as a South Dakota State defenseman.
And it's been the legs of Calzada these last couple games and today that have really worked well. It's a good job there, and he's sneaky fast. Getting the outside for a big quarterback.
Calzada. Big arm throw to pick out Walt Hall, going across the field for a gain of 21.
And that's the kind of throw that has you excited about a guy like Zach Calzada. That ball was put on an absolute dime. Look, Tucker Large is coming over and break that thing up low to the outside, away from the safety. It's a beautiful thing.
The longest pass of the day, but almost a touchdown there. Lontrell Turner tripped up just shy of the goal line. Chase Van Tol with a touchdown-saving tackle. UIW trying to punch it in on back-to-back drives after they were shut out in the first half.
This tempo they're going with, working too.
This is the first time they've slowed it down. Ahead of this 1st and goal. Timeout taken by South Dakota State ahead of this 1st and goal. UIW punching this in to try and make it 38-14. That's where those missed opportunities in the first half would really start to haunt you. The 2 turnover on downs, coming up empty after forcing 2 takeaways.
That's the thing, is it's one thing to get the takeaways, and that's the best thing that UIW's defense has done all year, getting 31 total takeaways, but you got to get points off.
The FCS playoffs going on right now, 6 days away from the first ever 12-team playoff. We just showed you the matchups at the top of the screen. It all starts 6 days from now. Notre Dame and Indiana on ABC. Rocky Boyman, a proud Notre Dame alum. You got to be pretty jacked up that game's in South Bend.
Yeah, a lot of Notre Dame fans are worried there's going to be a lot of red in that stadium, though. In-state IU.
That'll be some scene. Low snap. Calzada backpedaling back to his own 15. And throws it just out ahead of Walt Hall.
Yeah, low snap just what kind of got that play messed up from the get-go there. Just little things. Bad snap just affects the timing a little bit. And big max balloon right up the gut.
The tight end Dane Farley in the backfield with Calzada, blocking for him. Calzada scrambles in. Back-to-back touchdowns of this 3rd quarter for UIW. They have not downed their tools in the 3rd quarter after falling down by 31.
As you mentioned, Dane Farley in the backfield here. And this is what they've tried the first couple of times, especially on those 4th down plays. Quarterback power. This time they swing it to the outside and he punches it in.
For a team that had 2 turnover on downs inside the red zone in the first half, if you don't come up empty there, you're in this thing. Whereas now you still have a mountain to climb despite the 2 touchdowns.
You do, but I mean, right now I know what Clint Killo is telling his team. They're saying, look, don't look at the scoreboard. All right, don't look at the points and start doing all the math and all that. Just get out on the field, defense, let's get a stop, offense, let's keep pushing this ball down the field and scoring.
Tonight, 8 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app, the 90th annual Heisman Trophy ceremony. The finalists, Oregon's Dylan Gabriel, Colorado's Travis Hunter, Boise State's Ashton Genty, and Miami's Cam Ward. How about Cam Ward? He started his college career at Incarnate Word, played 2 years for the Cardinals. Clint Killo was part of that staff as an assistant coach for Ward. And he said the beautiful thing about this program is everyone knows we're an up-tempo offense, very quarterback friendly. So even though it's a bit of a revolving door because both head coaches and quarterbacks are usually only there for a couple of seasons, that revolving door puts a lot of talent in and out. And Cam Ward's probably the best example of it. You look at what Ward did, the Jerry Rice Award winner at Incarnate Word, and then obviously moves on to Washington State, and now at Miami, a Heisman Trophy finalist. That is 8 Eastern on ESPN later tonight. And Marilyn, you spoke with Cam yesterday.
On the eve of tonight's Heisman Trophy ceremony, Cam Ward said that his life changed because of getting to go to Incarnate Word. It was his only offer to play football out of high school. He said that they instilled a lot of confidence in him to go out and play his style, to be as aggressive as he is, and to move the way he does as a quarterback. He said, of course, I've gotten a lot more accurate, and my pocket movement's better now, but that changed my life.
Yeah, playing under head coach Eric Morris, and then Morris and Ward move on. G.J. Kinney takes over, and now it's Clint Killow running the show for UIW.
Well, and there's no doubt that this style of offense where you're slinging the ball around and learning how to fit the ball into tight windows and zone coverage, that translates to the NFL. So those skills are being fostered at Incarnate Word. That's why these quarterbacks love coming there.
Mark Gronowski and the Jackrabbits trying to answer after UIW's put together back-to-back touchdown drives. And a flag comes out there for just the third time today.
Holding. Offense. Number 87. 10-yard penalty. It's first down.
That's the first penalty against the Jackrabbits today. Been a very clean game for South Dakota State.
And as we've mentioned, I think the elements have just really played well into their hands. Of course, this is where they're used to playing. This time of year, games are going to be played in the cold, and they're good at it.
In a team that loves to run the football and eat a lot of clock, it becomes even more difficult to come from behind against that style.
Right. That's exactly right. I mean, it's the antithesis of this UIW offense. That offense puts up a lot of points and does it fast and slings the ball around, but you know, when you have the ability to run the ball, you have the ability to shorten the game and close the game out. And that's what South Dakota State does well.
Up over 200 rushing yards on the afternoon. Gronowski under pressure, steps up, breaks a tackle, and now is drilled just beyond the line of scrimmage, gain of 1. Good contained there. Mr. Williams, the junior linebacker, provided the big shot there on Gronowski.
I don't know if you necessarily want your quarterback taking a chest shot from one of the better linebackers in the FCS, Mr. Williams. And that's the thing, Gronowski, he doesn't go down easy. He's going to be able to stay up, and boom. It's one right under the chops.
Third and long with a minute remaining in this third quarter. UIW trying to get the ball back to an offense that scored back-to-back touchdowns. Gronowski throws. That is well short of the sticks. Gronowski hit immediately by A.J. Tisdale. South Dakota State will be forced to punt here. And UIW in an inspired third quarter.
Yeah. For UIW, you know, if you can find a way to get a quick score, go up top, get something quick, maybe that window opens up a little bit.
Yeah, this game was 38-0 South Dakota State. I mean, felt like they were well on their way. You could pencil them into the semifinals, and the Cardinals have punched back with back-to-back touchdowns and now forcing a punt here at the end of the third quarter. I'm with you, Rocky. You can get that quick strike, although it'll be hard to do from inside the 10-yard line. That punt by Hunter Dustman just died like a golfer, just putting the perfect backspin on it.
It's just great team football that they play. They run the ball well on offense, defense. They tackle well. Don't give up a bunch of missed tackles. Special teams, you get a play like that, getting the ball inside the 10. You don't get a lot of penalties. All these things combined together are why this team has won the last 2 national titles and are looking for a third.
Now, in this second half, 2 drives, 2 touchdowns. And with 2 seconds remaining in this third quarter, why not dial up a shot if you're Zach Calzada in this Cardinals offense? Quick hitter out to the flat. Walt Hall wrestled down. Steve Orell the tackle, and that brings us to this fourth quarter. South Dakota State, back-to-back FCS champions, 1 quarter away from moving on to the semifinals. Start of the fourth quarter, South Dakota State led this game 38-0. Back-to-back touchdowns by Incarnate Ward, and the Cardinals have the ball here. They've chipped away after scoreless in the first half. Quarterfinal action at the FCS level, down to 8 at the start of the week.
Third quarter easily the best for Calzada. 14 of 18, 102 yards, touchdown and a rushing touchdown. Let's see if he can continue it here.
And he finds Walt Hall. Spun down after a gain of 7. Maryland Payne moments ago with South Dakota State head coach Jimmy Rogers.
Coach, Incarnate Word has scored on back-to-back drives. How do you get back to denying the end zone right here?
Yeah, this is a good team, so we got to make sure we just execute, lock into the details. We're missing too many tackles and it's killing us, so we just need to focus and finish this game out.
Thank you.
Thanks.
3rd and 1, Calzada. That ball deflected at the line of scrimmage. Jared DePriest got his hand to it.
And that's what you got to have when you got a quarterback getting the ball out of his hands quick. You're not going to be able to get there and sack him, but get those hands up. It's as good as a sack right there. There's 52 right in the middle. Push in the pocket, ball comes up, time it. Great job.
Incarnate Ward is going to go for this from their own 19-yard line.
Got to be Walt Hall. Looking to the bottom of the screen.
South Dakota State's forced 2 turnover on downs today. Calzada. And a flag flies before the snap.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. It's 4th down.
And now you have to punt this ball, right?
Yeah.
4th and 6 from your own 15.
That's part of being the signal caller is, those sort of situations, especially there, you've got to get that ball off. Clint Killo is just beside himself.
Hold on a second. The offense is staying on the field.
Wow.
They need to get the ball to the 20-yard line to keep this drive alive. They're on their own 14. This is the ball game.
We got Walto and Alexander, both their best wide receivers, down the bottom of the screen here. And something's got to go their way.
Calzada throws deep off his back foot into double coverage. Turnover on downs. Walt Hall sandwiched by Stephen Orell and Colton Tilford.
Yeah, look, in that situation, you got to go to your best player, and they did. But Colton Tilford, we talked about how well these safeties are playing. Look at that, just coming back. He doesn't get his head around. Might have got there a little bit early, but nevertheless forces the breakup.
And not a flattering angle there.
Yeah,
looks like
right
he
there.
did get there early, and you're right, didn't turn the head around. It could have been a first down if the penalty was called instead.
Wow. Turnover
on downs, and South Dakota State takes over in the red zone with a chance to put this game away. And if you're Zach Calzada, you're thinking, man, we can't get anything going our way.
Yeah,
Can't
no
get a
breaks.
call. And that was the drive. If they scored, you go, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
3 straight touchdown drives. They've got a chance. Instead, turnover on downs for the 3rd time today at South Dakota State. Can really put the nail in the Incarnate Ward coffin.
Yeah, they're going to be content to just let that clock tick away here. Probably won't snap until under 10 seconds on the play clock. Look at this.
Gronowski, risky throw there. Tried to pick out the freshman Lofton Ogrosky.
Yeah, that's one where as experienced as Mark Gronowski is, you got to say, look, let's not get too risky here. We got the ball down here. The worst we're going to get is a field goal and a bunch of time ticking off the clock, but you can't throw an interception.
Chris Pierce, the corner, was in the area. The ball sailed over his head. Offensive coordinator Ryan Olson looking on ahead of this 3rd and 9. Gronowski throws to the end zone again. That's ripped away at the final second. Kendrick Stone pried it free. Griffin Wilde, that would have been his 3rd touchdown catch of the afternoon.
What a great play by Kendrick Stone there. You know, just staying alive on that play. Ball is in Wilde's hands. He just pulls that left arm down so Wilde can't secure the catch. That is, I can't emphasize how hard that is to do. I mean, for a cornerback in that situation to pull that down, that's great.
South Dakota State will settle for a 30-yard field goal attempt after the turnover on downs. Unable to capitalize for a touchdown. Dustman puts it right through. Extends their lead to 41-14. 13 minutes and change left in Brookings. South Dakota State going for a three-peat. It's actually maybe a little more common than you'd think. Since 2005, it's happened 3 times. Appalachian State, and then the North Dakota State dynasty. They actually won 5 in a row from 2011 to 2015, and then 3 more from 2017 to 2019. South Dakota State's won the last 2, so they could join Appalachian State and North Dakota State as dynasties at the FCS level. And speaking with their head coach, Jimmy Rogers, yesterday, kept using the word the standard. And I go, well, how did you set the standard? He goes, a lot of losing that makes you tougher. You go through those wars and you're better for it. Flag comes out on the return.
Well, that's specifically what he was talking about with losing that game to North Dakota State.
Right.
You learn from it.
During the return, holding, return team, number 20, 10-yard penalty, first down.
You see those championship flags waving. You know, their 14th FCS playoff appearance, 13 in a row, and finally got over the hump in 2022, and they've just kept humming. Jimmy Rogers, defensive coordinator for that first championship, then takes over for the head coach and wins it. It'd be special if they could make it 3 in a row. Got to finish this off in the final 13 minutes and then on to the semifinals, which will be next Saturday, noon Eastern time on ABC. And more than likely, they'll take on North Dakota State. The Bison have Mercer in the quarterfinals in the Fargo Dome. That's coming your way in under an hour on ABC.
Great job, blitz off the outside there.
Well, this South Dakota State defense has given Zach Calzada fits all afternoon. 2nd and 12, Calzada throws, and that pass is broken up. Dayton McGoy and Colby Humphrey combining to just sandwich Walt Hall there.
It's a nice hit here, coming from both sides. A little crunch, boom, that's it. Little UIW sandwich right there for South Dakota State.
As a linebacker, Rocky, you played 4 years in Notre Dame, 8 years in the NFL. You got to love hearing that pop, that crunch.
I mean, it's one thing to see it, but when you can hear the hit, that's what gets the juices flowing.
Who's one guy you played with that really provided that pop?
Oh, man. I'll tell you what, Keith Bullock, teammate with the Titans, great tackling linebacker. Tank Williams, great safety, 220-pound safety coming downhill. That was always fun to watch and be on the field with.
And in cold weather like this, it stings a little bit more.
Correct. But back to your point about just the standard here at South Dakota State. I mean, it's one thing to win one. It's another thing to keep that standard in the excellence and all the things that go into it happening year after year. And here they are going for their third trip.
And in the era of the transfer portal, that keep all this talent here with limited resources.
Yeah, and it's even harder to do.
8 players that turned down 6 figures for Jimmy Rogers' team to stay here in Brookings to win football games. They're well on their way. 8 p.m. Eastern time, 6 days away from the first ever expanded 12-team playoff. It took them 4 decades to catch up to FCS football. They expanded to 12 in 1982. On a 4th and 1. Stuffed once more. They didn't blow this play dead. It's a rugby scrum. And finally, South Dakota State wins that battle.
And somehow the center, Mason Williams, ended up with the ball.
That is the 4th turnover on downs forced today by South Dakota State's defense. You can't say enough good things about that unit.
Yeah, they've been great. I mean, all 3 levels. Look at this, build the wall, penetrate, and there's the linebackers stacking that running back up. You know, it's everything, right? You have every element you want on a defense. You got a defensive line that plays 8 or 9 guys, great against the run, linebackers that run around and tackle people, a secondary that's been great at getting takeaways, the whole package.
And John Bell, the 3rd-string quarterback, into the game with this well in control for South Dakota State. And why you don't go to the backup Chase Mason and skip right to the 3rd string is Mason's still not 100% coming back from that foot injury. So John Bell gets some action here. 14th appearance this season. That tells you that this is usually how it goes for the Jackrabbits. They get a big lead and then Bell's gotten some experience.
Been on the team since 2021. Ask him to come out here and just ice this game away.
As we get hyped up for 1st-round action in the 12-team playoff at the FBS level, I made the joke a moment ago that FCS 4 decades ahead of them, expanding that playoff to 12 in 1982. And even though it took them a long way to get there, how great, now we're here. All the talk, all the will you expand, they finally did. We get our matchups. Kicks off 6 days from now, and then a triple header a week from today.
It really is. I mean, as you were describing, I think back to how many years we've been talking about this. Should we do it? Should they not? And even go back to the days, okay, we're going to have a 4-team playoff. And then the arguments, is it enough? Well, I feel like this is most people agree with a 12-team playoff, and it's knocking on our door right now. Friday, we'll get our first game.
And when you think about the 1st round being at home sites and what that means, going to places like South Bend and Columbus and Austin, Texas, I mean, these scenes are going to be incredible. Happy Valley and Penn State. I just think it's going to be such a spectacle. You take a look at that 12-team playoff. Yeah, look at those locations.
I mean, seriously, getting playoff games in some of these unbelievable venues. Penn State, Notre Dame, Horseshoe. This is great.
And movement on the line ahead of this 4th and 1.
False start. Offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty. It's 4th down.
That's Stoffel, the tight end, who jumped.
Keep the offense out on the field here. 4th and 6.
An opportunity for John Bell and 2nd string offense to try and convert here. Keep the ball out of UIW's hands. Bell throwing deep on 4th and 6. Put it up. And Kentrell Prejean ran right under it. A spectacular grab at the 1-yard line on 4th and 6. Wow.
Good for John Bell. a lot of times in the game in mop-up duty, but here he is on 4th down, back foot hits, and throws an absolutely perfect ball to Prejean.
Even the Jacks backups getting it done.
Second charge timeout, Incarnate Word. 30-second timeout.
Take another look at this ball.
Watch, back foot hits, boom, 1, 2, 3, launch. Good job by Prejean coming back on that a little bit, but other than that, it's in a perfect spot.
It's a gutsy play call on 4th and 6.
I know, slot fade. Well, you know the defense is not expecting that. Pull the trigger.
You have to be happy if your offensive coordinator Ryan Olson putting up 48 points. And if they score here, they'd be just shy of their season high, which was 63 against Youngstown State. But to do it in the quarterfinal here at home and what could be the final home game of the season. And, Olson was telling us about some of the seniors that will be playing for the final time today. Shouted out the center, Gus Miller. He's a Brookings native, born and raised right here. A Remington Award winner. He has done it all. 2 national championships, and the O-line getting it done there. Right up the middle. Brendan Begeman caps off another Jackrabbits touchdown drive.
South Dakota State, good to get some other guys involved. Build your depth in case you're counted on as these playoff games come down to the wire. You got guys with experience. Punches it in.
Now it's been an impressive offensive explosion. 55 points to show for it. They've rushed for more than 265 yards behind that big-time offensive line.
Yeah, it's, and they've, early on, they were running the ball, and then they went to throwing it, and now they're back to what they really do well is just running the football. You get the big offensive line that averages 305 pounds. You get those tight ends. You got 2 running quarterbacks. You got a stable of 3 or more running backs. I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches for this offense at South Dakota State. In this time of year and this weather, you got to be able to run the football, and they're one of the best at it. And look at these stats here. 241 rush yards per game. That's for 3rd in the FCS. Only 7 sacks allowed this season, and only 2.7 tackles for loss per game here. That is getting her done.
When you can run the ball and stop the run, that is what wins FCS championships. Playing in this cold weather environment here at Brookings. This O-line has set the tone. Special teams has been terrific as well. Offensive coordinator Ryan Olson loves it. Let's check in down with Merrill.
Right guard Evan Burtson said that the biggest difference for the O-line between now and even mid-season was in their understanding of even the next step that the guy to the left or the right of them is going to take. He said it's been most beneficial to us in the red zone as this season's gone on, and it's really valuable for us to just continue to build confidence in one another and even become better as time goes on and moving as that singular one-man 5-guy unit.
Well, you're right, Marilyn, and Jay, you talked about it, how they lose 3 starters from last year's fantastic group, and there's no other position group in football that requires more teamwork and more knowing what the guy next to you is doing than that offensive line. So they have the players, but just every game they get more and more experience playing with each other, and it's shown at the right time.
And when we were in Fargo for the Dakota Marker game in October, Rocky, there were 14 NFL scouts there, and enjoyed talking with a lot of those guys down on the field before the game, and they said, if you need offensive line, and everybody in the NFL does, you gotta go to South Dakota State. I mean, every one of these guys that ends up starting here gets invited to the combine because they know they produce NFL guys on the O-line.
They look like NFL offensive linemen. They got big guys that are also athletic. There's not, bellies hanging over the belt, so they're in shape. They can move. They're tough. They know how to find that body type. And any coach will tell you, Jay, finding the top offensive linemen in today's recruiting, that's far and away the hardest thing to do. Those guys are just not grown on trees, but they seem to find them here at South Dakota State.
Well, not just at the offensive line position, but Jimmy Rogers said the majority of his team this year, they were the only Division I offer. 90% of these kids that you see playing here for South Dakota State, they only had one offer, and it was the Jackrabbits.
And that goes back to what we were saying earlier about how just this program has found a way to keep guys here. And you wonder if you're a player and this is your only offer and you become a great player, man, don't you feel a little loyalty to the team that really went all in on you when no one else did? I think that occurs here.
I agree with you, but you're still turning down an awful lot of money.
I know, but
in this era of NIL, I mean, for Jimmy Rogers to tell us he had 8 guys that turned down 6 figures, that is a testament to the program. And all that talent that they've kept in Brookings is why they'll have a shot to make it 3 straight FCS championships, 4 minutes away from a semifinal appearance, 2 wins away from a 3-peat.
A great job showing the arm talent of Zach Calzada there.
Completion is under further review.
He's continued to battle.
Yeah, he has.
So they're going to review this catch with 4 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. It was ruled a catch, so do you see anything that's definitive?
Yeah, that's the thing. Let's see on this angle here from the feet standpoint. I don't see anything that overturns that thing. That's a catch.
Yeah, Roy Alexander,
who's had a fantastic game.
He's been the biggest bright spot offensively. That's got to feel good for him. He actually played in Brookings a year ago, and last year's semifinal, he was with Albany. They came here and got drilled 59-0. So even though they won't come out with the win, he individually has been really good today. If this catch stands, it would be his 11th reception. Scored a touchdown. Our production crew just said they're also looking at a potential targeting on Stephen Orrell, the backup cornerback. I didn't see it, Rocky.
After review,
no, there's no targeting.
The play stands. It's first down.
Leading with that shoulder.
Yeah, led with the shoulder. Shoulder made contact. It's not to the head or neck area. And that ball was possessed. There we go.
South Dakota State fans will flip over to ABC in a half hour from now to watch North Dakota State and Mercer. Winner will take on the Jackrabbits in the semifinal. Calzada not going down without a fight. Love watching this kid play.
Lowering the shoulder.
Flag comes out. He's done some hard running today in difficult conditions.
Holding. Offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty. It's first down.
He kind of acted like he was going to pull up there and then lower the shoulder. Watch this. No, I'm going to slide. Nope, I'm lowering it. That's a great college football collision right there. Joe Ullman, the linebacker.
You know, in a losing effort, been super impressed by Zach Calzada, his toughness. That's probably the best example of it.
Yeah. And again, a guy that didn't run around much throughout the course of the year, but last game of the season last week and here today, he's utilized those legs, and it's been a factor.
They've been playing college football for a long time. In 2021, he engineered a win against Nick Saban's Alabama team at Texas A&M. He was an Under Armour All-American coming out of high school, and it's good for him to be playing his best football here at Incarnate Word. Finally an opportunity. He's healthy, and it's been great to finally fit a system. He's shown the flashes, but this has been his most consistent season. Doesn't get much help there from Jarrell Wiley.
And again, that's about the 4th or 5th time the check down today. Just, it's been dropped or an errant throw. Gotta have that.
Third and long, quick hitter. At about half the 15 yards they needed. We saw them go for it on 4th and 6 from their own 13-yard line, so they're definitely going to go for it here.
Definitely here. Again, the guy that shined today is Roy Alexander. He's going to come here toward the bottom of the screen, going to be in the middle of that trips formation. Point man there.
13 receptions today. UIW 1 for 5 on 4th down. Can they convert here? Calzada escapes the sack. Flushed right. Down he goes. On 4th down, South Dakota State has dominated. That is the 5th turnover on downs forced by this Jacks defense today. Wow.
Here goes a little penalty, a little jawing after the play here.
Yeah, frustration foul from Calzada.
Yeah. You could feel that one brewing from a couple plays ago when he lowered the shoulder on the run.
The result of the play is a turnover on downs. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. South Dakota State, number 51. This is his first of the game. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
So they say it was Logan Green, the sophomore nose tackle, who gets called for the personal foul.
Sure, I'm seeing where it occurred there.
Yeah, it must have came
away
in
from
after.
the ball. Yeah.
Pre-snap penalty ahead of the 2-minute timeout.
False start. Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty, first down. Please reset the game clock to 2:04.
A Rocky, pretty good recipe for South Dakota State. You put up 55 points on offense and force 5 turnover on downs on defense. You're going to win a lot of football games.
You're going to win a lot of games, and it's important to have that kind of mojo going on both sides of the ball this time of the year, heading into semifinal matchup.
That takes us to the 2-minute timeout. South Dakota State 2 minutes away from joining Montana State in the semifinals. Opposite sides of the bracket. FCS playoffs roll on. Well, South Dakota State can start looking ahead. This was earlier in the season in October in the Fargo Dome. North Dakota State beat the Jackrabbits 13-9. We were there, Rocky. It was an awesome 1-versus-2 rivalry game. The Dakota marker on the line, and South Dakota State would love another crack at the Bison to try and earn a way to the FCS championship game and avenge that rivalry loss.
I remember that play late in the game. It looked like North Dakota State was just going to try to keep pounding that ball, and then they go with a slot fade to the outside. Cam Miller with the touchdown. That was the difference.
Now, it's not a guarantee that the Bison will join South Dakota State in the semifinal, but they're 24.5-point favorites against Mercer. That game 15 minutes away from kicking off in Fargo over on ABC. And I think about this, 11 of the last 13 FCS championships have been North Dakota State or South Dakota State.
And these programs, I mean, Jimmy Rogers talked about it. He said, we compete on the field, we compete in recruiting. Usually when it comes down to a player, if we're going to get them or lose them, if we're going to lose them, it's to North Dakota State and vice versa. These are two of the top programs.
And a lot of those championships for North Dakota State won by talented quarterback Easton Stick. Well, he's got the most FCS wins by any quarterback with 49. Mark Gronowski, in a minute, will tie him with 49 wins, and he'll have a chance to beat that FCS record next week in Fargo to send his team to the championship. Wow. And I think at any level, Rocky, you need a quarterback, but if you can find him, you can win a lot of championships.
Yeah, I mean,
I think North Dakota State and South Dakota State, when we show you 11 of the last 13 FCS championships, they've had great quarterback play.
I mean, usually if you see a team, whether it's high school, college, pros, and they're underachieving, usually one of the ingredients is they just haven't found that quarterback. You get a team that's winning, usually most times they got a quarterback who's playing at a very, very high level.
And for Gronowski, not only a chance to pass Easton Stick for most FCS wins by a quarterback, but to make it a three-peat. Shoot.
I mean, you mentioned him. He's already a legend around here. I mean, he's going to be talked about for as long as this program is around, but to possibly make it 3 just makes it even more incredible.
So Montana State and South Dakota State into the semifinals. South Dakota, UC Davis currently playing on ESPN Plus, and then North Dakota State and Mercer to round out those 4. And then it's a doubleheader next Saturday. It'll kick off noon Eastern time on ABC. South Dakota State against likely North Dakota State, but Mercer would love to shock the world and spoil the fun in Fargo. Great punt. Everything's gone South Dakota State's way today. Even the special teams. Hunter Dustman. And foolishly picked up by Mason Pierce. A 69-yard punt by Dustman.
Dustman likes that. That'll add to the stats a little bit.
The Jackrabbits have once again done what they've done each of the last 3 seasons, and that's take care of business in December. A program that has turned into a perennial power at the FCS level.
And Jay, they came out today and they managed the elements, cold game, wind blowing around. Offensively, we're pretty much unstoppable. Defensively, for the most part, tackled really well, got the takeaways. It's why this program has won the last 2.
And for UIW, a season that dies in the Dakotas once again. That FCS semifinals in 2022, they get back to the quarterfinals here, and they lose 55-14. Make it 5 straight semifinal appearances for South Dakota State. They'll try and make it 3 straight national championships, just 2 wins away from it.